The wind howled over the open desert, a dry, suffocating breath that carried sand into our eyes, mouths, and the cracks of our gear. It was nearly 200 hours when the Black Hawk dropped us off in the middle of nowhere, just flat nothingness in every direction. The only thing that broke the emptiness was the moonlight glinting off the barrels of our rifles. We were Ghost Team 6, Special Forces trained for hostage recovery in the worst parts of the world. I'd been through Iraq, Kandahar, and operations I still can't talk about. But this mission felt different, off. Maybe it was just the silence. Maybe it was something else. My name is Sergeant Cole Ramirez, 32, born in Texas, son of a Marine. I wasn't the leader of the team, but I was second in command. Staff Sergeant Caleb Voss was our lead, sharp mind, cold under fire, and a man who believed in following orders to the letter. Opposite him was Reyes, silent, ruthless with a blade, and dangerous even without a weapon. Walker, our sniper, always had something sarcastic to say, even when bullets were flying. McBride handled demolitions, loud, fast, and dependable. Doc Adams was our medic, but in truth, he was the glue, steady, calm, with a way of making the worst pain feel like a mosquito bite. Then there was Lieutenant Rafiq Suleiman. He wasn't one of us. He was an intelligence asset, born in Syria, trained by U.S. forces, and recently inserted as a local advisor. Command trusted him. I didn't. Not fully. He talked too smooth, moved too clean. Something about his eyes. They watched everything but said nothing. We marched under cover of night, low and fast, radio silent. The compound was 15 clicks out. We navigated through dry riverbeds and crumbling ruins, past dead villages and forgotten minefields. Every time we paused for recon, I scanned the horizon. Nothing. No patrols, no movement, just quiet. I don't like quiet in a war zone. By Euro 3:30 hours, we had eyes on the compound. It sat like a ghost, half-collapsed walls, barbed wire sagging off rusted poles, and a single broken tower that might have been a watch post once. No lights, no heat signatures, no guards. That's not right, I muttered, peering through my scope. Place looks like it's been dead for years, Voss said. But they're in there, I know it. Suleiman pulled out a tablet, showing us an updated satellite image. There's an entrance on the west wall, he said. Inside, the prisoners are being held underground, in a storage room turned cellar. Reinforced concrete, steel door. We go in fast, breach, extract, simple plan. But nothing about war is simple. The wind picked up just as we reached the west wall. Sand whipped against our goggles and rifles. I signaled the team to form up. Voss took point, Reyes flanked left. McBride and Doc Adams watched the rear, and I moved with Suleiman near the breach point. The wall was partially collapsed, just like the satellite image showed. The opening was wide enough to slip through single file. No tripwires, no signs of recent movement, not even a damn footprint. Reyes, Voss whispered, clear the breach. Reyes nodded once and slipped inside. 30 seconds later, his voice crackled softly in the comms. Clear, no movement, smells like mold and piss. We moved in. Inside, the compound felt like a tomb. The air was thick and stale, rubble crunched under our boots. The walls were stained with smoke and grime, and rusted rebar stuck out like skeletal fingers from the cracked concrete. We advanced slowly, rifles raised, clearing each hallway and room with textbook precision. Every corner, every shadow was a potential kill zone. The intel said the prisoners were underground, beneath what used to be the compound's kitchen. Suleiman pointed toward a stairwell behind a rusted metal door. It was padlocked. McBride moved in without a word, pulled a shaped charge from his pack, and set it silently. We all backed off. Pop! The lock disintegrated with a muffled hiss of heat. The door creaked open slowly. Going in, I whispered. My heart was pounding. Something about this felt wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. The stairwell descended into total blackness. Voss flicked on his infrared laser, and we moved down one by one. 10 steps in, Reyes stopped. Something's not right, he said. Then it happened. Boom! The explosion swallowed the hallway. I was thrown backward, slammed against the concrete wall, ears ringing, lungs crushed. The world blurred into fire, smoke, and screaming. McBride! Reyes! I coughed out, barely able to hear my own voice. The stairwell was gone, reduced to rubble. McBride had taken the full force of the blast. Reyes was down, blood pouring from his leg, pinned under broken steel. Doc Adams rushed in to stabilize him. Voss dragged me to my feet. "They knew we were coming!" he snapped. "This was a trap!" Suleiman was gone. I scanned the smoke and shadows, coughing. "Where the hell is he?" Walker's voice came through the comms. He was on overwatch, 2 clicks out on a high dune. I saw him break left. "He's moving toward the east wing, fast, alone." "Damn it," Voss growled. "He set us up." "Reyes is hit bad," Doc Adams said. "He's not walking out of here." The clock was ticking. We had wounded. The hostages, if they were even here, were somewhere deeper inside, and now we were compromised. Ramirez Voss said, grabbing my shoulder, "You and Adams get Reyes patched and cover the hall. I'm taking Walker and tracking Suleiman." "Roger that." As Voss moved out, I turned to Reyes. His eyes were glassy but alert. "How bad is it?" he asked, blood soaking his leg and waist. "Bad. But you're still breathing." He smirked. "Then go get that son of a bitch." I nodded. We'd walked into a trap. But I wasn't leaving anyone behind. Not Reyes, not the hostages, and sure as hell not without answers. Doc stayed with Reyes, keeping pressure on the bleeding leg while I pushed deeper into the hallway, sweeping the shadows. My rifle was up, finger steady on the trigger. Every sound felt amplified, shifting dust, the creak of metal, my own breath inside the mask. Voss and Walker moved ahead through the east wing, chasing Suleiman. His betrayal wasn't just a hit to the mission, it was personal. We had shared intel, maps, plans. He'd sat beside us in the bird, gone silent with us in the dunes. And now, he'd walked us into an ambush like we were blind sheep. I reached a sealed hatch in the floor, rusted but recently disturbed. Footprints in the dust confirmed it had been opened. This wasn't in the satellite brief. A tunnel system? I called it in. "Voss, I found a hidden hatch. Leads underground. Possible route Suleiman took." No answer, just static. "Walker, you copy?" Still nothing. I wasn't about to wait. I opened the hatch, lowered myself down slowly. The steel ladder groaned under my weight. Below, a corridor stretched ahead, narrow, dark, with flickering lights barely holding on. Old maintenance tunnels, or maybe something older. Syrian militias were known to build underground holding cells. Cooler, hidden, and nearly impossible to spot from above. If the hostages were still alive, this was where they'd be. I moved slow, step by step, sweeping both directions. The air was stale and warm, reeking of sweat and iron. My boots crunched glass and gravel. A noise up ahead, footsteps, rapid and light. I turned the corner and stopped cold. 3 hostages, all men. Duct tape over their mouths, hands zip-tied, sitting against a locked gate. Dirty, dehydrated, but alive. Their eyes went wide with shock and hope when they saw me. I dropped to a knee and cut the zip ties. "U.S. Army," I said, "we're getting you out." One of them, older, maybe mid-50s, with blood crusted to his temple, leaned in. "There's more, 3 more, taken somewhere else." "They split us." "Where? When?" He coughed hard, voice raspy. 2 nights ago. Said they'd be moved south, to a place with buyers. Buyers, that meant ransom, or worse. I radioed again. "Voss, 3 hostages located. Confirmed others relocated. No contact from you." Respond, still static. "Cole!" Voss's voice came through, weak, distorted. "Ambush. Walker down. It was all Suleiman." Then silence again. I cursed under my breath. I had 3 half-conscious civilians, Reyes bleeding out above, and my team scattered or silent. And Suleiman? He was somewhere in the tunnels or already running. I gave the hostages 2 of my spare mags, told them to stay low, and marked the location for evac. "I'll be back, I promise." Then I went hunting. I moved deeper through the tunnel network. More doors, more chambers, and finally, a faint voice, Arabic, fast, angry. I peeked around the next bend. Suleiman. He was standing beside an armed guard, gesturing toward what looked like a comms panel. He didn't see me. 1 shot. That's all it would take. I exhaled. Fired. The guard dropped instantly. Suleiman spun, drawing a sidearm, too slow. I tackled him hard into the wall, his head smacking the steel. We rolled, fists flying, weapons lost. He got a punch in, but I got 3. Then I pinned him, blade to his throat. "Why?" I growled. He grinned through blood. You Americans never see the game until it's too late. I punched him again. Who paid you? Where are the other hostages? He spit at me. Gone, sold, you'll never find them. I bound his wrist tight with cord and radioed command. Ramirez to base. Partial extraction complete. Confirm 3 hostages alive. 3 still missing. Betrayal confirmed. Suleiman in custody. Request immediate QRF. We are compromised. I dragged Suleiman back through the tunnels, half conscious and bleeding. He cursed in Arabic, but I didn't care. My focus was getting those hostages and my team out alive. When I reached the hatch, I could hear the rumble of rotors in the distance. The Quick Reaction Force, QRF, had arrived. Thank God. Above ground, Doc Adams waved me over, still crouched beside Reyes, who looked pale but alert. Birds are 5 minutes out, Doc said. Reyes is stable enough for evac. Boss? I asked. He shook his head. No contact. That hit hard. I turned to the hostages I'd freed and pointed them toward the compound's north wall, where the extraction point had been marked with infrared. Move fast. Stay low. If you hear anything, hit the ground. They nodded and limped toward safety. Just then, gunfire. Not from us, from the east wing, and then I saw him. Voss. He stumbled through the broken archway, blood trailing down his arm, dragging Walker by the vest. Walker was out cold. Behind them, shadows moved. I raised my rifle. Covering fire! Bullets ripped through the night. I dropped 3, maybe 4 enemies. They scattered behind crumbled stone walls, returning fire. Tracers lit up the courtyard like fireflies in hell. Voss collapsed beside me, panting. Ambushed. Damn near didn't make it. Walker's alive, just out cold. QRF's almost here, I said. We hold this line or none of us are leaving. Then over the radio, Black Hawk inbound. 2 minutes, mark your LZ with IR strobes. I grabbed a strobe from my vest, popped it, and tossed it out into the open. The rotating green light flashed like a beacon in the chaos. The enemy saw it too. Mortar thumps echoed from the south. Boom, boom, boom! Sand and shrapnel exploded around us. Reyes groaned, dragging himself behind a broken wall. Doc covered him with his own body. They're bracketing the LZ, Doc shouted. Not for long, I growled, pulling the RPG launcher off Walker's back. Cover me! I ran toward the south ridge, slid behind a concrete slab, and peeked over. 2 enemy mortar teams, exposed. I sighted in, held my breath. Whoosh! Boom! Direct hit. The second team scattered. Voss picked off 1. A Black Hawk roared overhead, its side gunners unloading suppression fire. This is Falcon 3. We have visual. Hostages confirmed. Sit rep. 6 friendlies, 3 hostages, 1 enemy detainee. I shouted into the mic. Zone hot. Need immediate dust off. The chopper hovered, its wheels just above the sand. A second bird swooped in behind it. Smoke and debris swirled as we moved, carrying Reyes, Walker, and Suleiman. The hostages climbed in first, then Doc, then Voss. I turned one last time, saw an enemy fighter raise a rifle. Crack! A single shot. His body dropped. I looked up. Walker, now conscious, had fired from the open chopper door. I leapt in, and we lifted off. As we flew away, the compound grew smaller beneath us, disappearing into the storm of dust and fire. I looked at Voss, then Walker, then Reyes, still alive, still with us. We'd completed the mission, not clean. Not easy, but no man left behind. Absolutely. Let's bring this mission home. Back at Forward Operating Base Hawkeye, the desert wind was cooler than usual. Or maybe it just felt that way because we were alive. The medics rushed Reyes and Walker straight to the trauma tents. I watched as Doc gave his final handoff, exhaustion written all over his face. Voss sat beside me on a metal bench near the landing pad. His arm bandaged, a bloody rag still clenched in his hand. 3 hostages out, I said. 3 still in the wind. Voss nodded, jaw clenched. And Suleiman? In holding, I replied. Jag boys are already in his face. He's not talking. Yet. The mood in the base was heavy. The kind of weight that doesn't lift right away, even after a mission. Because it wasn't just about the enemy, or the bullets. It was about what we almost lost, and what we still could. Later that evening, the debrief began. We sat around a metal table in the intel tent. Our commanding officer, Colonel Hastings, entered with 2 CID agents and a defense analyst. Maps, photos, and comm logs spread across the board. You boys walked into something bigger than a hostage grab, Hastings began. Suleiman wasn't just a traitor, he was a broker. We've confirmed his ties to 3 international arms networks and at least 1 terror cell operating out of Libya. He paused. We believe the remaining hostages were part of a larger sale. Not just ransom, leverage. And you disrupted that. I leaned forward. Do we have a trail on them? Hastings gave a faint nod. Our signals unit traced a satellite phone call he made just before your team landed. It pinged near the southern border, deep desert, no man's land. We're assembling a strike package now. Voss slammed his fist on the table. Then let us finish what we started. The colonel looked at us long and hard. You're the only team that's been in that zone. You know the layout, the escape routes, and the enemy's playbook. If you're willing, you'll lead it. We didn't hesitate. One by one, every man at that table said yes. 2 days later, we were in the air again. New coordinates, new mission file. Same objective, bring them home. Intel showed the hostages had been moved to a makeshift facility deep inside a canyon system known to house smuggler camps. No satellite eyes could see clearly through the rocky overhangs. Only boots on the ground could get the job done. The Blackhawks set us down 5 clicks out. This time, we approached low, quiet, and wide, no risk of another Suleiman. As we hiked across the sand, weapons up, comms tight, I felt it again, that knot in the chest, the tension before the fight. But under that was something stronger, purpose. This wasn't just about redemption. This was about finishing the job. We reached the canyon just before dawn. Drones fed us visuals, multiple heat signatures. 1 structure and 3 bodies chained in the far back room. Alive, barely. We split into teams. Voss and I took the rear. Doc and Reyes, patched up but too stubborn to sit out, flanked the west wall. Walker, now walking, talking, and back to himself, took overwatch. 3 hostiles on the east wall, Walker whispered over comms. 2 more inside, 1 patrolling the roof. Copy that, I said. On your mark, pop, pop, pop. Silenced rifle shots cracked through the air. The rooftop sentry tumbled silently. Then the east wall was cleared. I breached the rear door, Voss right behind me. The inside was hot, humid, lit by a single flickering bulb. 2 men turned, surprised, but not fast enough. Bang, bang. We rushed into the back. There they were. The final 3 hostages, hands bound, lips cracked, eyes filled with disbelief when they saw us. Voss cut them loose. I radioed out, all hostages secured, mission complete, and this time I meant it. Back at base, the 6 hostages, now a complete set, were airlifted to Germany for medical and psychological care. The debriefs confirmed everything. Suleiman had arranged their sale to an extremist splinter group. If we'd been a day late, they'd have vanished across borders. Walker stood beside me as the sun set again over the dunes. You ever think, he said quietly, about what would have happened if we hadn't gone back? I looked at him. Every damn minute. Then I smiled, but we did clean.